So let's move to the peanut gallery. And let's talk about Javy Baez. Javy Baez was the big off-season acquisition for the Detroit Tigers to play shortstop, to come in, and to hit the ball hard. Now, one of the things that you may have noticed, and if you didn't notice it, then I think you were just living under a rock this last week. But it seems every time we travel to somebody else's ballpark, Javy is getting into it with the fans. There's a lot of talking, a lot of chirping. You get it as a Major League Baseball player all the time. I don't know if you remember back to the Giant series or even picked up on it, but in Game 1 of the Giant series, there was a guy sitting behind home plate, and every time Jonathan Scope was on deck, he kept saying, "Shoot, there it is," because apparently he doesn't know his name, Scope. But anyways, you hear those kind of things all the time. And what Javy has done is when he has doubled, when he has hit home runs, he's engaged with the fans. Now, I know there's going to be a lot of people that say, he doesn't need to do that. Act like you've been there before. Just run it out. Blah, 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 blah. We hear it. It's old. It's tired. It's a terrible take. This is actually something that I love that Javy brings to our team. Look, in life, I'm all for humility. When it comes to sports, humility is maybe not the top of my list. When Javy hits a tank to left field and turns around and puts the finger up to the mouth to the fans, I love it. And you know why I love it? Look, I don't think Javy's a leader on this team. I think that Javy thrives when there are other people that lead. I think that he thrives when he has an Anthony Rizzo or a Chris Bryant like they did in 2016 when they were all teammates with the Cubs. But you know what Javy brings to this team? Swagger. Something that this team has lacked since the teardown. Something that this team has needed desperately. And he's brought it. Is the average where we want it to be? No. Do we think that he strikes out too much? You may think that, but the reality is that's just who Javy is. He's going to hit the ball hard. He's going to strike out trying. But the one thing that we cannot get away from, and the one thing that I love about this, is the swagger that Javy's bringing to the Old English Tea. We're not on this level yet, but I liken it to the Bad Boys era a little bit. That team had swagger. You knew you didn't mess with that team. And now we're coming into a series with a relief pitcher in Amir Garrett who has a bad history with Javy Baez. And I want the guy with swagger on my team when we got a guy on the other side running his mouth. If you remember back to the last weekend series, Amir Garrett was struggling against Reilly Green. Okay, a rookie that has less than 100 bats in MLB, who's been phenomenal for us and really has changed the tone of our offense. Amir Garrett was struggling against him. He ultimately got him to strike out on a 3-2 pitch that was way below the zone outside. Then he started running his mouth, held his hands up, running his mouth. And who said something to him? The guy on deck, number 28, Javy Baez. Told him, go back to the dugout. Go back to the dugout. And I know you've seen the video. I know you've seen the interaction. But I love it. You may hate it, but I love it. And I want more of it. And that's the thing about Javy, right? When he's on your team, you love that he's on your team. When he's not on your team, you probably hate the fact that he's on your team. Or not on your team. Or you're playing against him. But this is exactly what the Tigers need. The numbers will be there. I'm not concerned about that at all. But what isn't measured on the back of a scorecard, back of a baseball card, what you don't get from Fangraphs and Baseball Reference and Baseball Savant is swagger. And Javy would be plus in that category and he's doing it wearing our Old English tee, and I absolutely freaking love it. And I want to see more of it. And I think I will this weekend when they play, or this week when they play the Kansas City Royals. So keep it up, Javi. I'm cheering for you.
Man on a mission, I'ma get it. You know I be on a what?